Good afternoon, you're watching the Midday News. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories: fuel prices adjusted upwards as DP President KALABA describes it as terrible. The Vice President promises the well-equipped gender-based violence centers countrywide.
The trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
The Midday News in detail. 31 families in Mwambeshi living in tents at the school grounds of Mwambeshi Day School have called for urgent help from government, stating that they are living under subhuman conditions in their own country. The families were placed in the school grounds by the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit in January 2021 after they were displaced from their land following land title deeds wrangles. Meanwhile, a concerned resident in Lusaka West have threatened to institute citizen justice and locate the affected citizens to 100 hectares of land was allegedly fraudulently acquired by the senior police officials.
This is not a refugee camp, but the school grounds of Mwambeshi Day School, where 31 families are sharing 29 tents after they were displaced from their land in January following title deed wrangles. Apart from sharing one communal tap, the 31 families only have 5-pit latrines to cater for everyone, while noting the help they are receiving from the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU. They say it is not enough, stating that they want to live in dignity in their country.
Manje ise tipempa che government kuti itipezere malo kuenda. Ero 240 vakudya vitivuta. Ndakwamedenzeri pa first kuja vanatipwanyira tezokwanisa kuzisebenzera kupeza ko ndrama wagulako kakudya wapereka kwa mwana wa skulu ku skulu na vinamu manje pano vanatileta pano tinkala chabe kuchoka kuseni paka mu mazulu kulibe ko kuti ungayende wachitako peace week kulibe
Ma challenges ametipeza pano pa matenti monga ino time ya red season. Chimpepo uchambiri maningi chifuka recent hapa pameneze kana gwako kachaka mvula eze anagwa yonse matenti pano so eze ma challenges matenti atilinkezi chabe mu risk chifuka tene time chimpepo chikakula vingatigwere futi ndiye sometimes pano kumangala kuberewa losu kuchoka hapo sunga chokepo wasia tusoti twako kaboropeza palibe kaili na vimatenti vinafa mazipu kulibe. So aja yote amankala ni ma challenges kuti tizankala bwanji palibe na security kulibe security ni weka chabe kafuna kuti vindu vyako virungame ni kunkala manjolo wenda usakira kuti usakireko vochi toloka peace week teuzayo pakuti tonse tikasiririra pamunzi tizapeze kati batibera
sikufuna kwa ine nikufuna kwa Zambia. Ninafuna kuti naye nizikala munga mbena akalira vandu sina lemele kama nizikala naye nika pamene nakala vanipasa nakala ni Zambia ino wani Zambia wani nation so mauzo ametukaila muno ili na manji sini aziva pakuti kulipe chimene nalako kukala muno inapemba kuboma tupaseni pokala matishuwa makata nilinawa fulu so.
In a related development, residents of Lusaka West, who have been calling for investigations into over 100 hectares of land that was allegedly acquired by senior police officers during the previous regime, have bemoaned the alleged lack of police action over the matter, despite having reported to relevant authorities various times. One of the residents, Mr. Jackson Chama, says if nothing is done, he, along with other residents, will be forced to institute citizen justice and locate the displaced people on the land that was allegedly fraudulently acquired as they are currently living on a school ground.
Because this farm that he has acquired, he obtained it fraudulently, we've decided as a community that we bring our own brothers, sisters, fathers and mothers who are suffering at Mwembeshi Day Secondary School ground. We want them to be accommodated here, whilst we are pursuing these people.
However, Zambia Deputy Police spokesperson Mr. Danny Mwale says the police is not privy to the information, but has advised the aggrieved parties to get in touch with the Ministry of Lands. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News.
The Energy Regulation Board, ERB, has adjusted upwards the fuel pump prices effective midnight, 17th December 2021. Petrol will now be selling at 21 kwacha 16 ngwe per litre from 17 kwacha 62 ngwe, with an absolute variance of 3 kwacha 54 ngwe, while diesel will be selling at 20 kwacha 15 ngwe from the initial price of 15 kwacha 59 ngwe, with an absolute variance of 4 kwacha 56 ngwe. Meanwhile, Democratic Party President Harry KALABA has expressed disappointment on this development, adding that this will increase the cost of living and is not what the Zambian people voted for.
The anticipated fuel hike has been announced by the Energy Regulation Body, ERB, Thursday 16, 2021. Effective midnight December 17, petrol will be now selling at 21 kwacha 0.16 ngwe per litre from the current 17 kwacha 0.62 ngwe. This comes with an absolute variance of 3 kwacha 0.54 ngwe. Diesel will be now selling at 20 kwacha 0.15 ngwe from the initial price of 15 kwacha 0.59 ngwe, with an absolute variance of 4 kwacha 0.56 ngwe. Earlier, Bank of Zambia Governor Dr. Danny Kadialia indicated the need to have an administrative adjustment in fuel pump prices and electricity tariffs to avert future challenges in the sector. Shortly, Finance Minister Dr. Stumbeka Msokotwane reminded the Zambian people of the $480 million that is owed by Zambia for unpaid fuel supplies inherited by the UPND administration. It is for this reason, therefore, the 2022 national budget has no provision for subsidies on fuel and electricity. Stakeholders have, however, come strong on this issue, warning the government not to take that route, for it will increase the cost of production, consequently the cost of living for the Zambian people. Democratic Party DP President Harry KALABA has since added a voice to this fuel hike.
Cost of living in this country is going to just skyrocket. It means transport prices will go up. Bread will become expensive. Everything literally will go up because of this same cost that has come. I thought people voted for the new Dawn government to have relief. Now there's nothing like having relief. It's now survival of the fittest. This is sad. And yet the same government is finding it right to give tax holiday to the money and failing to remove to give subsidy to their own people in the energy sector. Very sad indeed.
Meanwhile, in arriving at this current price adjustment, the board considered two things. One, to allow the price adjustment according to the two pricing fundamentals, which is the international oil prices and the exchange rates. Secondly, proposed to government that they continue with the tax relief on petroleum products. To ascertain where this story is headed, only time will tell. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Republican Vice President Mutalena Lumango has appealed to all relevant institutions to enhance operations aimed at preventing occurrences of gender-based violence while ensuring speedy and transparent justice for victims. Speaking during the launch of the Prosecutor's Handbook on Sexual Violence, the Vice President says the book will create standardization and uniformity to international standards in the way that Zambia responds to sexual crimes. Meanwhile, speaking during the same event, Director of Public Prosecutions at the National Prosecution Authority, Feluta Siyuni, notes that the handbook will not only be useful to prosecutors but also other stakeholders in the fight against gender-based violence, as it clearly stipulates how such matters should be handled.
The continued occurrence of gender-based violence (GBV) in the country has been a major source of worry to many stakeholders, as cases continue to be recorded in their thousands. 2021 third quarter statistics from the Zambia police indicate that Zambia recorded a total of 4,042 GBV cases during this period, with 685 of these being sexual crimes. Republican Vice President Ms. Mutalina Lumango says there is need to ensure justice for victims in a timely and dignified manner. She was speaking during the launch of the Prosecutor's Handbook on Sexual Violence held by the National Prosecution Authority in Lusaka Thursday.
The prosecution service should not be a barrier in assisting victims, but rather the bastion of justice, which ensures that victims access justice in a timely manner with dignity and respect. It is hoped that this handbook will, therefore, ensure that prosecutors treat victims and cases of sexual violence with the utmost seriousness and professionalism that victims deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, the primary mode of holding perpetrators accountable for committing sexual violence is via the criminal justice system, through arrests and prosecution. This entails the involvement of the police, prosecution, and the judiciary. The prosecution service must respond effectively to the rise in cases of sexual violence, and it is imperative to have standard practice procedures that will guide in the management of sex crimes.
Meanwhile, Director of Public Prosecutions Ms. Fulata Siyuni State Council says the handbook will enhance capacity to prosecute GBV crimes among prosecutors as it clearly stipulates what the law says. She adds that it will also be helpful to other partners in the fight against GBV.
In addition to these efforts, it is important to recognize that effective prosecution plays a critical role in the criminal justice response to gender-based violence. Ladies and gentlemen, in our never-ending commitment to quality prosecution and to enhance capacity to prosecute these crimes, the National Prosecution Authority, in cooperation with the United Nations Joint Program on Gender-Based Violence Phase 2 and the governments of Ireland and Sweden, has drafted the Prosecutor's Handbook on Sexual Violence with the objective of guiding prosecutors to effectively manage cases of sexual abuse, strengthen the prosecution of these offences, and serve as a notable step forward in the Zambia's response to ending the plague of gender-based violence.
Meanwhile, Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha has also added his voice on the handbook.
The more cases you take to court should not be your benchmark. But the more those cases end up in convictions, that is what will make a good benchmark for you.
The handbook was compiled with the help of cooperating partners such as the United Nations, the Swedish and Irish governments, as well as Zambian Ministries of Health and Community Development and Social Services. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Police in Lusaka Thursday officially charged and arrested Rafael Nakachinda for defamation of the president. He has since been released on police bond and will appear in court on Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. This was confirmed by Deputy Police Public Relations Officer Daniel Mwale. Meanwhile, Mr. Nakachinda has maintained his position, alleging that President Hichilema is with an agenda of taking Zambia to a one-party state. He says this shortly after his release at Charleston Police Station in Lusaka.
It was a moment of joy seeing their fellow member let go on police bond after spending a night at Charleston Police Station in Lusaka. Addressing the media, PF member of Central Committee Rafael Nakachinda says he will not be intimidated by government.
The only conscience of our society that is remaining is the judiciary. I was greatly honored to spend a night in the cells in defense of the sacred institution called the judiciary. I'm honored also to have spent a night in cells in defense of our democracy. So if Mr. Nakachinda thinks that he's going to use the cells to intimidate us, we are prepared to sleep in every cell in this country for the sake of our democracy.
Yes.
We are prepared to go to any length in terms of us defending our democracy.
Mr. Nakachinda further says he is ready to face the law, saying he is innocent until the law proves the opposite.
There is this new phenomenon that they are done, wanting to incriminate people by collecting fingerprints. The whole delay from morning up to today has been trotting between AG's office and whatever consulting, whoever it is, to try and force me to give them fingerprints. I mean, fingerprints are only collected from convicts. You can't collect fingerprints from a person who has not been convicted. I am innocent until proven guilty. And I look forward to interrogating Mr. Nakachinda over the matter of defaming him, because he's the one I believe was complained. So we'll meet in court, and I hope you have the courage to come to court so that we can have a conversation over the defilement matter.
Meanwhile, Deputy Police Public Relations Officer Dan Mwale has confirmed the police bond and set Tuesday, December 21, 2021 for Mr. Nakachinda to appear in court. Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Well, that item ends our midday news. The headlines once again. Fuel prices adjusted upwards as Democratic Party President KALABA describes it as terrible. Vice President promises well-equipped gender-based violence centers countrywide. Well, that's all we had for you on this desk. Join us again for our main news at 19:30. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Good afternoon.